So you've got the idea, you've had it for 6 months, maybe 6 years. You told a few people about it, you Googled it late at night, and you have a notes graveyard of plans, names, and to-do lists that never quite got done. And here you are, still not started. So let me ask you something that probably no one's going to ask you about today. And I want you to actually think about it before you answer this. What if the reason you haven't started has nothing to do, zero to do with time, money, or having the right idea? What if the thing that is stopping you is something a little closer to home? Well, stay with me because for the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the real reason smart, capable people stay stuck, and more importantly, what to do about it. And I promise you, by the end of this, you are going to look at yourself a little differently. My name is TQ, and I've spent over 30 years helping people, most of that while I was in full-time ministry and lately as a life coach. And I've met with students, families, entrepreneurs, helping them get from where they are to where they're supposed to be. So let's get into it. So there are 3 identity level beliefs that are seen over and over again in people who have a hard time taking action. And I want to walk you through these 3 beliefs that are blockers. Okay. So blocker number 1 is, it goes like this. I'm not the kind of person who. Yes. And this one is a bit sneaky because it doesn't always show up as a thought. It shows up as a feeling or a hesitation. It shows up as yeah, but I'm not the kind of person who charges for that kind of thing. Or I'm not the kind of person who can really put themselves out there like that. Or who am I to make this kind of money doing that? Where did you get that story from? Because I promise you, you weren't born with it. Somebody handed it to you. Maybe it was a parent, a teacher, or maybe a failure occurred and you decided that it meant something permanent about you. But here's the good news. If somebody handed it to you, you can hand it back. You don't have to hold on to it. Now, the story that I needed to hand back, it comes from playing high school basketball. I thought I was the kind of person who was probably going to mess it up. And I did a lot. I mean, at the end of my senior year, my game got so much better because I wasn't worried about potentially being the person who was going to mess it up. I started to believe something different, and the difference in how I played was night and day. So here's blocker number 2. The world doesn't work that way for people like me. Now, this one is a worldview issue, and I say this gently because I know that if you're thinking this way, then there's typically some very real pain and real history associated with this kind of thinking. But here's what I've learned. What you believe about how the world works becomes a filter. And that filter decides what opportunities you see. Not the opportunities that are actually present, but the ones that you see. It decides what risks feel worth taking and what version of the future feels really available to you. 2 people can be trapped and standing in the exact same room with the exact same opportunities in front of them. One just sees the walls that are in the way, and one sees a door that they need to figure out how to get through. They're in the same room, but they have a different filter. Your worldview isn't just philosophy. It ends up becoming strategy because it determines what you're even willing to try. All right, here's blocker number 3. I'll start when I'm ready. And this one's a big one. And I have some news for you. And I want to say this to you because I care about you. So listen close. Being ready is a myth. It's a lie. It really is. Ready is what we tell ourselves when we're afraid, but we want to sound responsible. We say things like, I'm just being thorough. Not really. You're probably just scared, and that's okay. Fear is not the problem. Fear is normal. Fear means the whole thing matters, but waiting until I'm ready or I feel ready is just fear in a suit. It cleaned itself up, put on some nice shoes, and convinced you that it was wisdom. The people who build things, they started scared, and they started with some uncertainty. Every single one of them did. Now, here's where we need to actually move to. So what do we actually do with this? And here's a framework to use that is an identity-first approach. So before you build your business, you build your belief. And this is step 1. Name the story. What is the specific belief that's been running in the background? Write it down. Drag it into the light. It loses its power the moment that you name it. Okay? We know it's not true. Put it out there, name it. We can begin to deal with it. Step 2. Challenge the evidence. The story that you have feels like truth, but is it really? What's the actual evidence that you have that contradicts the story? Because I guarantee you there is some evidence that contradicts the story. You've finished hard things, you've figured things out before. Find the evidence and put it on the stand and interrogate that story like a top tier lawyer. All right? Here's step 3. Act like the person you're becoming before you feel like it. This is the part people skip. They wait for the feeling to come first, but it actually works the other way around. You act first in small steps and the feeling follows. You discover your identity through action, not the other way around. Now, this isn't a fake it till you make it scenario. This is a make it what you do until you are certain that it's true scenario. So start small. I know you're scared, but hey, start anyway. So, look, if you've been sitting on an idea, a dream, or a business that feels like it's supposed to exist, I don't think it's an accident that you watched this video today. And I want to help you get to the next step. So I've got a free resource called From Stuck to Started. It's a short email series I built specifically for people who are ready to stop being almost ready. So the link is in the description. And if this video has hit home, share with somebody you know who's been almost starting something for a while. They need to hear this. So thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe so you can catch the other videos that are coming up, and let's go build something.